Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out today's episode of Hardball Sports Talk, brought to you by Hardball Sports Media. My name is Brandon. Today, we are going to talk about Week 10 in the NFL season, as well as talk about a couple other things going on in the sports world. But before we get started, today is November 11th, which is Veterans Day here in the United States. And before we get started, I'd like to say thank you to all those who have served this great country and continue to serve this great country. I would not be able to have this podcast and YouTube channel without your guys' great sacrifice on of either your lives in some cases or just being away from your family and friends and home. And I appreciate everything that our military does for us, and I hope you guys have an enjoyable day today. And I hope we don't just thank the veterans on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I hope every day you guys have a chance to say thank you to a veteran. I personally try to say thank you as much as I can when I see somebody from the armed forces, and I hope you guys do too. With all that being said, let's transition this to sports. Uh, Way less serious thing than the military, but it's what we're here for, is talk sports, and I enjoy talking sports. Let's do it. Let's go over Week 9 of the NFL season. The Colts beat the Jets on Thursday night last week. Mike White, the quarterback for the Jets, got hurt on the first possession, and the Colts basically just ran away with that game 45-30. The next game was the Bengals and the Browns. The Browns absolutely destroyed the Bengals. I picked the Bengals to win that game. I figured they were coming off a really good win, and the Browns have been scuffling a little bit and dealing with injuries the last couple of weeks. But the Browns came out and won 41-16. Really good showing for that offense there. The next game, well, really big upset here, was the Broncos beating the Cowboys 30-16. I picked the Cowboys to win that game, so far we're 1-2 after the first three games last week. The Dolphins beat the Texans 17-9, which we picked that one. The Saints fell to the Falcons 27-25. The Falcons were able to pull off the upset there. Another game we got wrong. The Giants beat the Raiders 23-16. We got that one wrong also. Not a good week for picks for really anybody in this country last week. A lot of upsets. The Patriots beat the Panthers 24-6. We got that one right. The Jaguars beat the Bills 9-6. Not many people got that one right, including myself. I got that one wrong. Baltimore beat Minnesota on a last-second field goal by Justin Tucker, 34-31. We got that one right. Chargers beat the Eagles by a field goal. We got that one right. The Chiefs beat the Packers 13-7. Really defensive struggle there. Special teams really was huge in that game for Kansas City. That was one of the few games I got to watch this week. But really good performance there by both defenses and Kansas City special teams. Reason why they won that game. The Cardinals beat the 49ers 31-17. And then on Sunday night, the Rams fell to the Titans 28-16. We picked the Rams to win that game. Titans, really good team. I thought the Derrick Henry injury would be worse for them, but they were able to respond. So good team effort there. And then on Monday night, the Steelers beat the Bears 29-27. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast side of things when we talked about the Lions. We had covered the NFC North since the Lions had a bye week last week. But we don't really, or I personally don't have an opinion about the referees. They're human. They're going to make mistakes. In that game, they made a lot of mistakes. But the refs there, they are what they are. I don't think the league has anything against any certain team. That's just my personal opinion, but I could be wrong. Now let's move ahead to Week 10, this week's games. Thursday night is Baltimore and Dolphins. I'm going to take Baltimore to win that game. Should be not a fun game to watch, to be honest with you. Miami's really underperformed this year. Some people are calling for Brian Flores to be fired. I'm on the fence on that. We'll talk about the coach's hot seats closer to the end of the season. I don't think anybody will get fired midway through the season. If they would have, it would have been Urban Meyer after that incident at an Ohio bar earlier in the year, but he survived that. So I don't think anybody can get fired during the year this year. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my gut. Next, we got the Falcons and the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys to respond after the embarrassing performance against Denver last week. Now we got the Saints and the Titans. I'm going to take the Titans to win that game. Saints are dealing with their backup quarterback, Trevor Siemian, being in action. The Titans really performed really well last week against the Rams, and I expect them to keep that momentum going. Now we got the Jaguars and the Colts. Jacksonville picked up a really big win last week, but I think the Colts will handle business this week. The Browns against the Patriots. This is a really good game. Both teams are 5-4. This game's on the road for Cleveland. It's in New England. With that being said, I'm going to take New England solely because of the home field advantage there. Now we got Buffalo and the Jets. I'm going to take Buffalo to win that game. The Jets dealing with Mike White, quarterback still. He's been decent for them, but the Bills are probably going to be a little angry after their performance against the Jaguars last week. Now we got the winless Lions. I'm a Lions fan, so I can say stuff like that and laugh at them because it's pretty bad against the Steelers. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game. But I do kind of have a fun story about the Lions. I did not know about this until today. I was watching a video on Instagram, actually, is how I found it. But Dan Campbell, I love this guy. He could lose all the games this year. I don't really care. I mean, I do care. But I love this guy. He's hilarious. So the Lions' last game was against the Eagles, and they didn't play so well. They got blown out of the water by the Eagles. And Dan Campbell said that they watched the tape that they needed to. They learned what they needed to learn from that game. And then they grabbed a shovel, and they went outside, and they buried the game tape. And I think they literally buried the game tape. I really do. That guy's kind of psycho, and I love him. I really hope he does pan out. I think every football fan should be rooting for Dan Campbell personally because that guy is pure entertainment. These are the kind of guys that we need in the league are personalities and big personalities and funny guys who don't take themselves too seriously. That's my 2 cents on Dan Campbell. I really hope, though, as a Lions fan especially, that he works out here and he gets things turned around. Now we got Tampa Bay against the Washington football team. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to take that game. Now we got Carolina Panthers against the Arizona Cardinals. Carolina today signed Cam Newton. That's pretty big news there. I don't know if he'll be start. I doubt he'll start this week for them. I don't know if their plan is for him. I would not be shocked if he gets some starting reps at some point this season. Or he could be the backup for Sam Darnold the whole time. Darnold's right now dealing with shoulder injuries, so if Cam Newton can learn the offense here rather quickly, because if you remember, this is a different coaching staff than when he was there, so he might not know the system right now. So I don't expect him to play this week, but it's good to see Cam Newton back in the league. With all that being said, I'm going to take Arizona to win this game. Next, we got the Vikings and the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game, being in L.A. Travel for your game for the Vikings here. The Chargers are a really good team. The Vikings are inconsistent, so I'm going to take the Chargers to win. Now we got the Eagles and the Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos to win this game. This game's in Denver. Home field advantage there, and Denver is playing some really good football right now too. Now we got the Seahawks and the Packers. All the reports look like that Wilson will be going for the Seahawks and Rodgers will be going for the Packers. So it should be a good game. I'm going to take the Packers to win this one at Lambeau. Now we got the Chiefs and the Raiders. The Chiefs have struggled this year. They're 5-4, and the Raiders are 5-3. This game is in Vegas. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this one. A little bit of an upset here. 38% of America, according to ESPN, are picking the Raiders, so America is not on my side on this one, but Chiefs have not played consistent at all, and even the game against Green Bay, if Aaron Rodgers is in that game, the Chiefs get blown out of the water in that game. So they haven't really been impressive yet this year. The Raiders, they're nothing special either, but the pressure's on Kansas City to perform right now, not Las Vegas. Monday night, we got Los Angeles Rams versus the 49ers. I'm going to take the Rams to have a bounce-back game here. And, yeah, get back on track. Stafford had a poor game last week. I think he'll do better this coming week for the Rams. I'm rooting for him as a Lions fan. I think a lot of Lions fans are rooting for him. He deserves to have a playoff appearance with the real team. We had a couple playoff appearances, but there wasn't really a roster around him that was worthy of making a deep run. So that's my opinions on Stafford and the Rams there. I think they have the team to go deep. For news and other sports, just a heads up, this is probably going to be a shorter episode this week. Not as much exciting stuff as last week going on in the world of sports. But we'll still have the content out for you guys. This week, the Anaheim Ducks, their general manager, Bob Murray, resigned. He has an issue with alcohol, and he cited that as the reason he resigned. So I hope he can get the help he needs to take care of that. And the Ducks, hopefully, they can get things figured out there. Growing up as a '90s kid, the Mighty Ducks were one of my favorite teams outside of the Red Wings, obviously. But the Mighty Duck movies, big reason why I grew up loving hockey. Those movies were great, and I still love them to this day. And the fact that they literally were so big that the NHL made a franchise off them is really awesome. And I know these aren't the same Ducks. Disney sold the team, and that's why they're the Ducks now, not the Mighty Ducks. Didn't know if you know that or not. Fun fact there, though. But it's always fun to see different teams in weird places like Anaheim and California in general having good hockey teams. So hopefully they can get things figured out there. The Red Wings, we'll talk about them for a second. We have a podcast about them also, so if you're a Red Wings fan, be sure to check that out. But the Red Wings had a really good game the other night against Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers, coming into that game, had one loss, and the Red Wings were able to beat them 4-2. The Red Wings really were able to shut down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. McDavid did get a goal in that game, but really, overall, the Red Wings dominated play. Really good win for the Red Wings there. Hopefully they can keep that going. Tonight they're playing the Capitals at Little Caesars Arena, so should be a good fun game of hockey there. I'll have that on as well. I'm watching Thursday Night Football, so looking forward to it. So speaking of hockey, last week we had that clip of the Red Wings shift. That was my favorite thing that happened in sports that week. Okay, I'm going to take a detour for you guys real quick. My phone just went off, and I looked down, and according to Adam Schefter, Odell Beckham Jr. is signing with the LA Rams. There was reports that he would be waiting till after this week ends to pick his team. He got released by the Browns, and nobody claimed him this past week. And the reports are he's going to the Rams. A big weapon there for Matthew Stafford and company, so that makes that offense even bigger and better. OBJ does have some personality issues, but wide receiver, for the most part, doesn't. There was Calvin Johnson. He was pretty chill, but most of the time, those big-time receivers have a big personality, too. So it'll be interesting how that works out there in L.A., but there's a little breaking news for you guys there. Literally at 3:50 is when my phone had that notification go off in the middle of recording this, so kind of cool right there that happened while I was recording. But anyways, we'll go back to what I was talking about. So last week we had that video of the Red Wings blocking all those shots on that shift, and that was my favorite thing that happened in sports that week. This week is a little bit different. It is hockey related still. I promise these will not be hockey every week. It's just hockey's going on right now. A lot of cool things going on in that sport. A lot of cool things going on in every sport right now, to be honest with you. But so I grew up a Northern Michigan University Wildcat fan. The team won the national championship in 1991, the year I was born. And in that game, it went into triple overtime against Boston University when Daryl Plandowski, which I'll play that clip here in a minute, scored a goal in triple overtime to give the Wildcats the national championship game-winning goal. Fast forward 30 years, and Northern's playing Boston University at home. And Saturday night, it was really cool. They had the original, or the 1991 jerseys on, and what they did was they gave each player on the team a player from the 91 team. So most notably, Dallas Drake, for example, he's former NHL player, won a cup with the Red Wings. He went to Northern, and he was on the national championship team. And so his number was worn by a player, and so on. Like the whole team. The goalie wore Billy Pye, who was number one, and he was the goalie in that game for Northern when they won the championship game. Rico DiMatteo wore number one this Saturday, excuse me. A really cool moment there, though, for Wildcats fans. Dallas Drake's jersey was worn by Mikey Colella, and he got a hat trick, which Dallas Drake, big-time scorer when he was at Northern, didn't really put up the goals in the NHL, but the NHL is also a different game than college hockey. So really cool to see that. One of the better players in program history being honored by having a hat trick scored like that with his jersey being worn. That was pretty cool. But the reason we're talking about this is because Northern was up 5-2 late in the third period, and Boston decided to pull their goalie. And when they pulled their goalie, the player wearing Daryl Plandowski, who again scored the game-winning goal, which we'll play that goal here in a second, scored an empty netter. It was Andre Gantos. Scored an empty netter to clinch the game for the Wildcats. And I understand it wasn't a game-winning goal, but the fact that both nights ended with a goal by Daryl Plandowski's worn jersey is really cool. I don't get into the whole destiny thing and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. But I do think it is kind of fitting and awesome. And as somebody that appreciates the history of sports, that was awesome to witness. I wasn't at the game personally. I watched it on my phone, but it was a great game to watch. This week, we'll talk about this real quick. Northern's playing their rival Michigan Tech. Friday night's at Tech, Saturday's at Northern. I will be at the game Saturday. I'm on the fence if I want to do a video or not. I won't be able to get my camera in there. It'll be too much with all the crowd and stuff like that. Eventually, I do want to get some videos going on in the Bear Event Center. But if I do a video, it'll be on my phone. Not entirely sure if I'm going to do it or not. Let me know in the comment section if that's something you guys want. Should be a fun game and fun weekend, though. Tech is always a fun time. But here are the clips of those goals that I was just talking about. I'll play those now. Here you guys go.
Center ice. He gives it to Antos. Antos stays on side. Plandowski leaves it in the slot area for Beaufay. Plandowski scores!
All right, well, thank you guys for checking out today's episode. Be sure to leave a comment and like the video, and be sure to subscribe. Helps me out a lot. If you guys are interested, I do have a podcast. Link for those are in the description for the Spotify and Apple Podcast. Also, be sure to like the Facebook and Instagram pages for Hardball Sports. Links for those are also in the description. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, either leave them in the comment section here or email the show at hardballsportstalk@gmail.com. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day.